no longer available, and immediately it wasn't there last time.
Yeah.
I like that Nidalee ban, Dracos. That's a good call.
I mean, you see Canyon playing like he did in the previous game. You don't want to give him anything else that can take over early on. But you talked about it, a lot of champions off the board, a lot of the main engaged supports taken out as well. Something that was super clutch for G2 in that first game was the Rakan, and the amount of champions that can replicate those kind of engages are almost non-existent. Leona, essentially the only one left in the pool.
It's Leona, and then you're looking at engage from different roles, right? The Ornn still open. That's one that we often go towards.
Trundle also banned away, which potentially leaves more room to take it.
It might be an early Ornn prio here from GENG.
I mean, Sion also in the pool.
Another one who, when it comes to engage, obviously not quite as threatening, but does have an absolute monstrous laning phase.
And G2 red side, the luxury of counter pick, but GENG have not been afraid to blind pick. Of course, in game one, it did cost them a bit. It was a tough game to play out. G2 got the better of them. See what the angle is here. Stuff like jungle prio, very common at this point, but Taliyah, a pick that slipped through the cracks. Of course, Ahri still available. A lot of those supportive options on the board. Chovy on this Taliyah is a terrifying prospect. Somewhat leashed by the Orianna in the previous game, right? It's not a champion where you can impact the entire map. You need other champions to facilitate.
Got to be Ahri, right? As a response here, one of the picks we often see into the Taliyah, able to get out. To me, Chovy on this Taliyah, absolute monster. The TF would also make sense. Has been a very strong pick here at the tournament thus far. I know he's 0-3, don't be fooled by that. I think the fact that he's banned as consistently as he is tells a much more true story. But you do need, when it comes to these TF comps, you need to be able to actually utilize the power. We're looking toward things like the Camille comes to mind, right? Anything, the Yorick, anything that can try and play towards the side lane to really use the roaming power of this pick.
Great signs, as always, Vancouver. Love to see it. All right. One of the last remaining engage options, Leona, so good CC. Insane Merc Tread values, though, already for the side of GENG.
I was about to say the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, Leona, of course, hates to see that item, and TF only further incentivizes the enemy team to build it. So what are GENG going to go for next? I like the G2 have building blocks, a plan, potentially attacking side lanes. They're missing some of the core components to bring it to fruition.
Corki, possible here for Ruler. One of the few AD carries left that has a built-in escape. Against Leona, always going to be feeling good. You don't really want to go for something dashless, as that is, of course, a flex pick. Could be going towards Canyon, really try and get the most out of the value when combined with Taliyah. You're able to slam people through the rocks, you're able to slam people into her wall, but also would not be surprised whatsoever if that is just a counter pick for Duro. Able to block a lot of the Leona engage. Poppy support has been very, very solid for a good amount of time now. Always able to turn situations around.
Now the Kai'Sa
into Poppy, into Leah. That's a big risk being taken. We are getting to the point where not that much is available, and the TF is a good way of setting up for it, but that is not an easy game to play. The ability to ult in is really mitigated.
And I think we saw in the Senna game what can happen if bot lane falls behind.
Yeah.
And Kai'Sa is not a champion who will do well into this Corki early on. The Phosphorus Bomb, the amount of damage this champion can dish out. Of course, Leona herself, Sunlight passive, can do a lot of work, but if the Poppy does go there to mitigate it, things are going to be a bit tricky. G2 prioritizing, setting up a solid matchup for Broken Blade. Of course, likely jungle on 4, and a Zed ban against Skewmond.
So we still have Neferi up as well. Sion, a pick that I imagine GENG most likely are going to want to take away, because I don't know if you want to go for it. Allows the Camille to come through. Whereas if they pick it up, the Trundle has already been banned by GENG themselves. As the Camille, okay, well this feels like a pretty obvious Sion angle here on 4 for G2, if it's not banned away here by GENG.
Willing to give counterpick to Skewmond, perhaps. See what the option is. Olaf taken away. Oh, respect to Broken Blade there. Recognizing what Olaf can do against their composition. All right,
GENG,
G2.
yeah, kind of walk in the middle road. If they pick it, Keen is a player that's known for having a good amount of counter picks.
And also, Sion is just a scary champion in general. We've seen so many matchups where Sion will fall behind at a certain point, just fall apart really quickly. So Aatrox
is going to be the pickup instead, and that also makes the Sion way worse, right? Aatrox has always been a counter pick into the Sion, able to poke him down, able to also, once you get to Cleaver, chew through him decently. Also a side lane threat that you can use as Skarner, still up and available, even when a lot of other teams were not able to find success with this. Canyon did persevere. Does open possibility for Skewmont to go for something as a counterpick. And now we're going to see, is it going to be something crazy towards the top side of the map here into this Aatrox?
Keen potentially ready to lay down the gauntlet. A few more seconds before he has to lock that option. But the front line already looking potent for the side of GENG. Much more pick, much more side lane focused for G2 overall. And Jace locked in, a champion that's been contested so much in previous patches, but allowed to fall so far through the cracks in this picks and bans. As now the Mundo.
Mundo jungle to come through here.
Skewmont's played it before. You have a lot of CC from the TF. Maybe you don't need it from the jungle role. We talked about it before. We expected jungle to kind of bear the burden of providing that utility. Instead, it's Caps on the Twisted Fate. But this is a pick that, when he gets rolling, can look so oppressive. But we've seen the games where it falls behind, and Champion can just has such a low floor of what it could contribute. Skewmont, a lot of faith in himself. The team supporting him as well with this lock-in.
That's the main thing that I'm worried about, because Canyon on this Skarner will have a lot of ability to very early get big impacts, right? Doesn't really want to run to Skewmont in the 1v1. I think even the 2v2 can feel a little dicey, but he's able to, with his E, and as soon as the ultimate becomes available, be a really big menace in the fights. There is so much AoE damage available, and we go again to a setup where I feel like G2 is somewhat more reliant on playing a relatively slower early game, which I don't know if you're actually going to be able to get away with that. After GENG had a rough game one, they bounced back, obviously immensely in-game, 2 and 3. What a treat it would be if we're treated to yet another surprise 5-gamer.
I'd love to see it. Might be a bit of a stretch.
Come on, you gotta believe.
And I think the thing is G2 need that support, they need that faith. Backs against the wall, match point for GENG.
Need you to believe for me, Dracos. Come on.
I don't know if I need to believe. I think there are plenty of people in this arena who do. G2 Army, if you are here, your boys have their backs against the wall. They need to hear you. G2 fans, give it everything you've got.
All right, that's not bad. GENG!
The odds might be stacked against G2 everywhere they go, but it just makes it that much sweeter.
We can keep the back and forth going, you know? I think we have plenty of time. Just keep getting louder.
I would respect it, but there are going to be a lot of people here who want to be here on future days, and we can't afford to blow everybody's voice out on the first day of the bracket stage.
Looking at the setups here when it comes to the rooms.
Sorry to get some classic esports chants coming out from the audience here. Is nice early stun, good damage on a ruler. Not quite able to crack the plasma.
Still going.
Good from Hansama. Flash out early. This is massive for G2. This lane phase is so difficult for the Kai'Sa. Still taking a big chunk. But the fact that they've gotten both of those sums, that Hansama has kept both of his, a clear indicator that Skewmont can gank. The downside is it's a Mundo. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but Labrov does have the setup. Just keeps trading aggressively, though.
And this is the problem. The initial trade actually looks great, even though Ruler uses both sums. As level 2, not quite there yet. Even though he used both sums, they get the full plasma stack, right? So much damage of the Kai'Sa tied into that. But then the cooldowns for Ruler are way lower, spamming this E, and they should be able to get level 2 prio as well. Oh, basically at the same time, Hans finding the Q, but if you use it on the wave, that means you don't have it to threaten Ruler and Duro.
And even though they nerfed that Poppy E base damage, if that is what Duro has skilled, it's still so much upfront burst. Instead, G2 forced to back away. Nice early trade. The big thing is Hansama will slowly heal up. A reset will solve any deficit, any problems that they have, as they do opt to recall here. GENG baiting the trap.
Yeah, I think makes sense given that I don't know if they had early tracking on Canyon. If you don't know where the Skarner is, you end up getting caught in a situation where he dives you. The lane is just over. Instead, they're going to try and give GENG a taste of their own medicine. Already rotating
reset
over as Keen. We'll see if GENG reads this play. Should be able to get the crash here, but do they have a suspicion as the next wave? Not going to get the crash.
Opting to hold. Recognizing the play that they expect to come through, being the swap, which would mean Broken Blade would reset and TP bot lane. But if the wave is already out, if it's already pushing against them, there's really just nowhere for him to farm. But Lebrov, Skewmond on the way. Hansama here too. They're determined to shut this chase down, but Keen walks away. It's casual. Again, it was telegraphed.
It was, yeah, Broken Blade went in too early. You really have to try and sell that. Put on your best acting chops because there had 4 people there.
But the thing is, the second they don't see anyone bot lane, they know that there has to be something afoot.
Oh no.
Now Broken Blade will be here, has the flash. Do they immediately go for the gank? Chains there, knock back to the wall, solid. Broken Blade getting lower and he's likely to fall now. First blood for the side of GENG. G2 tried to be clever. They tried to get tricky, they had good trades early. They thought they could save it with good map movement to follow, but GENG were unfazed. They responded perfectly.
Yeah, that's a damned if you do, damned if you don't there for Broken Blade. Because of the way the top lane play played out, he cannot do 2 things. Either he can just walk down, which obviously feels really bad because Keen made his way out, didn't even have to flash, by the way, and he has the possibility to go either way. But instead, you go back because someone needs to catch this bot wave. And there is the Scorpion just waiting, ready to serve up a dish, and Broken Blade, unfortunately, slammed into the wall afterwards by Duro. Nothing that he can really do.
And we're kind of back to the same relative laning situation with G2 giving away some XP and some gold to the side of GENG, making the game that much harder. Zenith Blade denied by Duro.
We also see Keen really get the most out of the phase rush, right? We've seen so many grasp chases, it's easy to forget. Used to basically always go for this rune as
Duro
your cancel.
In. Right as the Zenith Blade comes through before the stun actually takes effect. Doing fine in these trades. The good news is Hansam has been able to stay relatively even in CS. You can see an early boots purchase, but Rob just keeps going. Aftershock there, the Leona so tanky, but not tanky enough. One more auto and Lebrov gets the kill. Excuse me, Ruler kills Lebrov.
And there you see, even with the fact that Ruler spent basically that early kill gold on a tier, it doesn't matter. Trying to hard force a play, you can't do that. It's into Poppy, right? You can't try and hands check Ruler when he has his W available. It's just not going to work. Instead, gets CC'd, slammed into the wall, and just goes down. Hans hadn't even backed. He was just sitting on his Doran's Blade, and Boots will now finish the Berserker Greaves, but these decisions from G2 in lane, this is feeling eerily reminiscent of that game number 3, Dracos.
Thus far, seems like everything has gone wrong for the side of G2. Lebrov walking into face check, level 3, gets punched into the wall. Hansama immediately flicked back. Caps is here.
Skewmond to steal.
Still relatively okay. Skewmond walking in, hoping to get the steal, and he's gonna take it. But they're losing kills. They've given so much just to contest. Hansama forced to flash out. Keen, low on mana. Flash forward from Lebrov, determined to get it. Just wants to keep going forward. Lebrov getting lower and lower. Hansama waiting over the wall. He might just die in an instant, but the Q, the Acathian Rain almost gets the job done. Finally, Keen goes down. G2 trying to fight their way through the deficit. Just keep going. And they managed to salvage something.
Yeah, but while that's happening, I want you to look at the top lane where we did see Ruler. Oh, Mike, be caught here, Caps.
Caps stepping up. One more gold card. Now retreating. A little bit of damage coming from about double TP. Chase on the way. Poppy on the way. Duro with the spell book. I don't think he can stay under this tower. Oh, luckily has enough damage to clear the wave.
Good clear there on the wave. It's Chovy gonna get the back cancel. A little bit of a risk there, but that actually ended up working out really nicely for G2. Even though Chovy, or rather Ruler, is pushing the topside wave, the Dragon goes again to G2 as they get the steal, and it looks like GENG is not expecting this heavy of a contest. Some damage comes down, but Chovy really isn't that strong yet. And GENG are playing for the fight, G2 are playing for the steal, right? So we see Skewmond go in, really clean there. Drake going down just straight from 760, and then this extended play because Hans is able to get out and then still get a couple of rotations off. and it's a heavy investment. But while all of this is going on, obviously, we do not have Ruler there. As we see, Skewmon, once you are caught by a Mundo, you're not getting away.
No. He does go where he pleases. Rama, clearly excited, but you can see still tension on the faces behind the scenes for G2. They got something, but it's still GENG in a comfortable position. Level 7 there for Cap. Skewmon waiting over the wall.
Big chunks.
Nice gold card onto Chovy, trying to outspace here. Unraveled Earth there. And Chovy just speeding off into distance. Power of that phase rush. Skewmon hits him with the what? The flash forward!
Might not have his item down, but he's pushing already!
I thought it was like a figure of speech when they said he went where he pleases. The downside is, as much as G2 are getting plays, giving us reasons to get excited, they're still conceding objectives around the map. The Void Grub's down. They did at least grab that first Drake to steal, perhaps an angle that they can play for. Skewmon, the one wildly far ahead. A rookie on the international stage. His time to shine.
With the fact that Chovy already being put decently behind until Ruler actually hits his items, can be kind of tough for GENG when the rest of the team is there as well to really chew through this Mundo.
Sub 9 minute heart steal. Clearing quickly as well.
Definitely going to be ahead of the stacking when it comes to the comparison to Canyon. Duro.
It's level 6. Canyon waiting, not quite spotted.
They saw him.
Gold card is Chovy. Does his best to act this out. Will just be the recall in the end for Canyon, as Ruler's been assigned to go toe-to-toe with Broken Blade. In the meantime, Skewmon ready to show his face on the top side of the map.
The Ruff doesn't have ult
It's
yet.
so hard to do anything. The Mundo passive, immune to that initial piece of CC, as Broken Blade forced to ult. Ruler, nice movement thus far, but Q2 does connect. Broken Blade just using it for a bit of extra healing. The Corki pressure, still pretty massive. Conqueror proc doesn't have Triforce yet, but still really starting to hurt.
It's the gold, right? As Ruler
caught out. Gold card wasn't ready for it. Chovy's here, but it might be too late. One more auto coming in. The Infernal Chains bring him right back into the waiting arms of Broken Blade.
And now the gold lead. Close to being equalized. Chovy also investing the ultimate. Still not getting anything. And G2, this TF, slowly starting to get more done.
Skewmon zoning Chovy off the wave for a brief moment, as Broken Blade now going topside. Phase rush procced, and G2 just trying to make it messy. Rapid plays. GENG caught on the back foot a few times this game, and you can see it was almost 2,000 gold earlier on. Now it's only 200 as they just continue to find kill after kill.
It has to be said though, GENG, I want you to look at those inventories. That's free tier items. Once those spikes hit, I think they're going to be a lot stronger, but it's starting to feel like they want to contest. Regardless of the fact that there's no Triforce on Corki, Chovy doesn't have his item done yet either. Keen, I don't think is going to be involved in this. Neither him nor Broken Blade have TP available. Keen's one is closer, but I don't know if it'll be there for this Drake.
And the only completed item on the Rift is the Heart Steal for Skewmon. So if he's not there, or if he's picked off, the gold much, much more in GENG's favor. Initial interrupt solid. Stops the follow-up CC going on to Canyon. But Duro down the steadfast presence for a little bit longer. Labrov ready to re-engage. Gold card there. Duro recognizing the situation, tries to dissuade. Canceling with the recall to put it on the 15-second cooldown.
Chovy's here, GENG, they do keep control of the river. There's a lot of damage there for G2.
Skewmon hurts. Cap's waiting, ticking through. 5 seconds once he locks it. Stepping up for the gold card. That much faster because of the scuttle.
The poke is hitting, but GENG, they're just starting to Dragon, and Keen's here without TP. I don't think they can contest.
Skewmon.
Another one.
Walking forward. Won't be able to get it. GENG, good patience. Not going to falter there. Know that they're stronger. G2's angle of picking off a single member doesn't bear any fruit.
But this time, yeah, we do have Broken Blade just pushing in top. Keen just walked over the old-fashioned way. Just manually will be now back, but Broken Blade with those kills, despite the fact that the CS still in favor of Keen. Looking good here on the Aatrox early on, and that top side, they're gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting, right? Gonna have to use the power spikes that are gonna be hit early. We haven't actually seen Any 5v5, and that's where I do think GENG with this comp can do a lot of heavy lifting as Keen might be in trouble here. Does a flash.
Boys are on top side, nice sidestep, dash through, parking the phase rush, getting out of the Infernal Trains, good escape.
That was clean, able to sidestep everything he needed to, not getting knocked up, not getting dragged back by the chains, just the power of phase rush and that gate. Doesn't even have to use his flash.
No, solid play overall from Keen, weathering the storm of all of the attention that's been put his way as Hansama Lebrov might spot Duro. Good steadfast presence to interrupt. Ruler waiting in the darkness though. Triforce completed for Ruler. He does so much damage. Hansama's protection knocked back, forced to flash away. But Ruler's the one with the gold lead. He's the one who can make these plays alongside Duro.
Nice play there, getting the flash on Hans, that's a big deal. Good amount of threats there for this Kai'Sa, even not taking into account the fact that you got to try and play around a steadfast presence. Chovy's rocks as well. These tiers are slowly, continuously stacking, but same for G2. I do wonder how their fights are going to play out later. I think both these compositions can feel very reliant on, for G2, you find an early pick, right? You have this TF.
Chovy anticipating the caps. Will play to take out the control ward. He was unable to do it after the previous exchange, stepping forward for a moment, wondering if Skewmon can back him up. Spellbook Ghost going to be used there. He'll be able to step back, but that low health bar is going to make it difficult to stay in mid. Luckily for him, Canyon currently content taking the red. Doesn't need to show any pressure mid.
Ooh, close game for so far. Ruler, he's pretty far up.
Spotting Hansama, Lebrov on the way in. Ulti hits, cleanses there. Ruler retreating. Zenith Blade doesn't quite connect. GENG able to keep their 80 carry standing, but double sums from Ruler.
Still a big win. You get both cleanse and flash.
It's a big cancel if they can find it. Caps' TP available, but he's still going to lose all those creeps because he has to recall. Hansama.
He's going to keep on going. Chovy has ult. Can try and look for a play here.
And Canyon doesn't have to do anything. He just has to hover. Yep. Like there is the threat. It forces. It stops all the recalls. Skewmon grabbing the mid wave, and now it's Broken Blade in trouble. Ulting, World Ender trying to make it out, taking his time as he's knocked back. Good damage goes through. Broken Blade continuing to step up, feeling confident. Doesn't even have the Sunder Sky finished yet.
Oh,
now it's TP bot side. Caps gets the ult out of Chovy. In exchange for that teleport, Chovy's not too far away.
So Broken Blade does absorb the pressure on top side. Good trade for him. Just using your ult for your life. Definitely happy about that. But then, unfortunately for G2, they lose the bot lane turret, lose a good amount of creeps. And the TP from Caps, mitigated by the fact that he has Spellbook, but still feels rough to use that sum, not get anything out of it, and now the gold lead getting bigger again for GENG.
Definitely is. But it really is all on Ruler as that tier continues to stack. Chovy opting for the Archangels first, needs a bit more time before he's going to get full value. Keen, the extra healing coming in from the Sundered Sky, it's not going to be quite as easy in that side lane 1v1. Does have early lethality, does have that extra movement speed on the active to dance around the potential threats. G2, it's not like they have the most reliable CC when Lebrov isn't there or Caps isn't there. Still a bit more time until the Destiny's available, and Ruler setting up home in mid lane.
There's again a good amount of vision here towards the top side for GENG, but G2 not getting pushed out fully. Still a ton of river vision, and that's really important when you have the TF, right? Soon that ultimate will become available. This Broken Blade might be looking for another collapse on him, but reinforcements are on the way.
No ulti, but he does have the flash. Knocked into the wall. Skarner setup, beautifully layered. The TP coming through as well. Broken Blade's got nowhere to go. Extra healing coming from the Sunder Sky, just trying to delete the wave, but he's gonna get flicked back as Keen grabs the kill. No response from G2 either. Good patience from GENG.
I think you could see as well, they wanted to try and respond because we already had Lebrov making his way over towards that top side. Broken Blade was one of the members on G2 that was actually holding on to a lead. No longer going to be the case as GENG in the span of just a few minutes with a couple of great plays.
Chovy
able to get further ahead.
Blue Smite. Slow doesn't quite hit, forced to flash away. Mundo just keeps going. Duro has to be careful.
I know about this one.
Spell immune now. Decent damage. Mitigating what he can. Exhaust going too. Ulti coming in from Caps. Bit of CC, but doesn't connect the stun. Duro able to find the knockback, but Caps is still in the area. Skewman immediately going to ult, trying to keep this fight going. Chovy not able to find the flick as Caps flashes out. GENG, a lot of resources burned. Ruler finally able to get here.
But despite it, they got Herald. They already got what they wanted, Dracos. It was a heist, and they were like, well, let's see if we can fight. Can't fight? It's okay. It was backing off.
And while the kills are close, it's the same story it's been this entire game. G2 conceding so many objectives, so many little things across the map to make these plays. I love the lust for blood, the hunger, the aggressiveness, the confidence.
Oh, Chovy, no flash, does have his ult, but there's a lot of CC here.
Lebrov not able to find the Zenith Blade. Good sidestep from Caps, taking their time. Lebrov gonna tank it. Shield coming in just in time for Chovy. The fully stacked tier doing a ton of work.
And they might get this dragon. And yeah, it's Cloud. That feels...
Canyon.
Oh, Canyon.
The 50-50. Skewmon manages to get it. And now the immediate retreat, but the mid lane tower already gone. Ruler does a lot of damage. Duro knockback, but doesn't find Hansama into the wall. Canyon going forward, will get Broken Blade. Big damage, and Ruler just allowed to free hit. Skewmon, though, continuing to walk forward. Skewmon completely unconcerned about the damage. Duro goes down. Canyon likely next. He's getting next to the wall because he desperately needs to run away, but Skewmon is on the chase. Going where he damn well pleases, but he's on the opposite side of the wall, and now it's Chovy looking to engage. Broken Blade taking massive damage. The Aatrox likely to fall. Flash away. Umbral dash. And Keen keeps the pressure up. G2 again.
But this
They're getting fights, they're getting close now, but they're losing everything else.
That's the problem. Yes, you get the top, or you get the mid lane play. You kill the Poppy. But while that's happening, Keen is pushing so hard that there's no other opportunity for you than just keep responding. Skewmon just gets obliterated in his own jungle, by the way, as the damage clearly is there. This early lead on the Mundo not quite working out, but the fact that Caps doesn't get to respond, because if he goes and TPs in, and that fight is not a complete and utter win, like Keen gets an inner. Instead he gets an inner, which still feels bad, but it's these cross-map plays as GENG, they just keep setting up these traps, and it looks like Caps has fallen for it again.
Caught out, has the ulti, but the CC held.
They're not going to use, oh yeah, not waiting until the end.
Caps down.
As they got Chovy.
Manages to get Chovy, has completed that first item, the power of the ulti. Alongside Lebrov's means there's more opportunity for side lane picks as if the TF wasn't enough. So again, it's these glimmers of hope.
That's a big shutdown, or rather a big amount of gold going over to Hans. Also, do note Lebrov, probably maybe a flash E or flash Q, using that summoner and getting a kill on Chovy is definitely going to feel good.
But as aggressive as G2 are playing, it's starting to feel like a run back of game 2. There was Keen on the Rumble, it was Ruler on the Jhin. This time it's the Corki and the Jace. Almost 2,000 gold apiece in terms of advantages over their respective opponents. And double items completed for Corki at 20 minutes. Fully stacked here, Trinity Force. He's a one-man army. All he needs is a bit of front line.
We also see Chovy. This is not a very high damage to Leah build that he's going for.
But I think he knows his role at this point. He's behind in gold. Just set up.
Play for utility. Follow up on Duro, follow up on Canyon, and keep Keen and Ruler safe. And Duro on this Poppy. Might be something that G2 look towards.
CC hits, waiting for the steadfast presence to expire. Perfectly timed by Lebrov. The CC now going through. Manages to take himself out with the Mikhails.
He lives!
Hansama retreating. The self of Mikhails from Duro so damn clutch because look at the health bars.
I don't know if they can do anything about this.
Broken Blade going in against Chovy. Ulti from Caps. Chovy starts to retreat. Gold card, but there's not, the follow-up isn't there.
Yeah, and I think the read here is Caps can also try to ult towards bot, but they can't contest Otacon, so you have to just try and look for a play. It doesn't look pretty, but trying to get Chovy there is, I think, the best cross-map you're going to get with the health bars. All those members in mid lane being as low as they were. No contest possible. That's going to be Otacon here for GENG as they keep inching closer and closer to that match victory. Looking at the item spikes though for G2, maybe once Hans gets a little bit further in as the TP.
Trying to find the engage. Lebrov to the side, locking down Canyon. Gold card ready to go. Impale only going to connect on one. Skewmon here as well. Canyon going to get taken down. Kill donated to Caps. A big gold shutdown. Getting things a bit closer as we see a TP from Chovy coming into the mid lane. G2 trying to find some advantage around mid.
Still playing very aggressive here. Not that much used there. To be fair, it was really just a TP. Coming through. I think GENG don't want to give over any chance for G2 to get this Drake.
In. They managed to find Chovy off on the side though. An early departure from the wall. Sees him face to face with Skewmon. Broken Blade going for 1v1 versus Keen, and it doesn't look like he's going to come out on top. But a quick flash! Massive healing coming in the Sundered Sky. Just in time. Gold card from behind. Chovy locked up. Unraveled Earth perfectly hits on Sama. Now Ruler just throwing down damage. Caps force back. Gold card giving them a bit more space. They don't quite have the follow-ups. The poke from the Aatrox Q is there. GENG retreating. G2 a decent fight, but they can't get the kills.
Well, that right there is exactly what we're talking about, Hans. It's so hard to find a good ulti, and there just dashes face first into a good amount of rocks. Taliyah, when she gets the kite back, hard to actually get on top of, and now what looked like an opportunity because they were able to interrupt Chovy making his way over. That was the reason why the play didn't end up working out for GENG. Trying to collapse on the Broken Blade to offset the loss of Canyon. But instead, Broken Blade gets the heal up. But because of the quick retreat, and again, trying to hard force into both a Taliyah and a Poppy, is just a nightmare. And the Dragon gonna go over, not gonna be found. But with those kills and that shutdown, 2-0. G2, keep the gold close.
2 dragons to 2. Duro goes in. We'll be able to just immediately walk away. He is forced to use the heal.
No, he just cleansed his spellbook.
Yeah.
Also has McKills, in case Ruler gets in trouble.
I respect anyone who brings cleanse to Summoner's spellbook.
That's good.
You got Steadfast Presence.
Canyon finds Qmon, both of them, I think, just looking for a stack. The turret goes down.
GENG keeping pressure mid.
Hans is pushing though, and he goes unanswered for now. Giving him additional vision, knows that people are on the way.
Now retreating. That's the ulti from Caps, but he sees an angle. He sees 2 members descending upon Han Sama, so he knows he has an angle to make a play bot. Doro ready with the ulti, but it doesn't connect. Now it's Doro who might be caught out, but Caps takes a lot of damage in the meantime. Doro just going to retreat. Wall goes down, isolating Lebrov, and he's going to try to walk this one off.
This is just Doro and Brav looking at one another. I can't kill you. You can't kill me. Let's just leave. How did you? It's a fairly peaceful ending. Yeah.
Count of 3, we both put him down. And I gotta say, like, G2 at least consistently finding these avenues of attack to try and get some gold back in their favor. But I think the thing that's gonna break this wide open is the Baron. They've been avoiding fights, been trying to find picks on their terms.
So looking at the spikes, 2 items done for everyone. On the Rift, supports being an exception, of course. Caps just now finishing his third. 10 stacks on the Rod of Ages. Also has his rapid fire done. I think that they're really going to be playing aggressively, trying to find a pick off of a gold card. Chovy really only sitting on, again, a very supportive build. And normally, Chovy does this because he knows that with the CSing and with the laning phase, the macro of GENG is ahead. Against the TF, you're never really going to be, and particularly in this game, as the Dragon, there's so much Baron, or Baron Red, so much Baron damage on G2. With Han Sama in particular, I don't know about walking into a choke point though. I don't think either team can get away with that.
Bot wave unattended, Keen pushing it out and moving up. G2 sticking around is likely to cost them gold, but they're determined to group and force something. Caps immediately moves out to a side lane. 3rd item completed for Ruler.
What a reminder, that's big into Aatrox and Mundo.
The armor pen wasn't enough, the healing reduction on top of it. His cleanse
nice
ready, summoner's ready.
That one has not spotted a ton of vision available here. And again, G2, they're going to be looking. If anyone shows just slightly out of position on any of these wards, they can pull the trigger with Caps. Han Sama, as long as he keeps in mind that Taliyah and Poppy can beat her in a moment's notice. And G2 keeping a very tight leash on the vision surrounding this Baron. No team has soul points, so if either team commits too closely towards the bot side of the map, tries to set up for Dragon just with a little bit too many people, collapse on Baron can be very, very swift here.
Broken Blade matching Keen thus far. Caps immediately going bot lane. Keen, the member who doesn't have that extra lockup, doesn't have the extra cleanse, and he's going to get taken down. But GENG immediately pulled the trigger in the meantime. It's Eyes in the mid lane, as Ruler will find Skewmon's jungler deleted in exchange for top laner, and GENG with access to the objective.
Might start it. We'll see if Caps is able to bring out his smite. Try and match, obviously. Gonna be tough. TP comes in. GENG, they're taking a risk here, but they do have the Poppy. Duro trying to get out of vision, I think, but he will be spotted. They don't have that much damage.
Solar Flare manages to connect. No immediate follow-up. Chovy for now uncontested. Flash from Lebrov keeps him safe. Broken Blade in the pit. Hansam and Caps on the side. Chovy focused on the objective. The Baron, the Swites are bad, but they managed to get it in the end. Canyon takes the objective. Broken Blade free firing. Caps still standing. Duro down. Broken Blade still going, flashing out. Caps can't go toe-to-toe with Canyon, but the gold card might be able to buy him a bit of a second, a bit more time. It's still the Baron down. A triple for Ruler. G2 cannot make it happen.
Ruler, I know you love your Quadras, but I don't know about chasing the Aatrox into fog. He's not afraid. He's just going to keep on going. Whoa. Broken Blade. Mission impossible. They see him.
The Emerald dash, but Chovy against the wall. Too fast. Oh. One more dash over the wall. Still running. An auto on a minion to buy a bit more health. Infernal Chain. Skumon on the way in. GENG.
I think he's out keen. Coming in on an angle.
Forward. Flick doesn't connect. Shock blast from Keen.
Not going to die.
Whoa.
Not even close, baby.
You are good at math. Close exchange again. You know that G2, this is the angle. They have an advantage in the fight, even if they are set to lose the objective.
So there were 2 smites available here for GENG, and even then, look at the burst here going down onto Canyon. If he ends up dying, if that McKills doesn't come through, this entire fight might end up being a complete disaster. Instead, Ruler doesn't actually get taken down, and even if they got Ruler, the fact that Broken Blade doesn't have his ulti to actually get the big resets, and Chovy goes uncontested in this fight, means that the objective doesn't go that way. Baron goes towards GENG, the Rebel Power Play. Not that impressive yet, but it gets them the soul point. And it allows them to fully take control of this map. And as we all know, trying to play a TF from behind is just a miserable experience.
Yeah, and we've got Sorelda's now coming in for Keen as well. Armor penetration on both of the major physical damage carries.
Death cap for Chovy as well.
Flicked back, and he's just gonna die in the blink of an eye. A blinking health bar, he'll live. It's close.
Not even close. Round 2.
That's twice. If he was a cat, he'd be 7 out of 9 lives down at this point. Caps, flash to the side, gets away from the Impale, but GENG looks like they're just going for the throat. They want to end it here. Game 1, G2 managed to find the advantage, managed to find the win. But since then, it's been GENG from start to finish. Ruler isolated wall from Canyon to keep him standing. It's Hansama.
Oh!
Chovy's damage. Doing the work, knockup going in from Duro. Lebrov trying to retreat, that's the ulti. Canyon ready to go forward. Chovy just continues to lay down the poke. And GENG merciless as they march into the base of G2.
And G2, they gave it their all, but even the early leads, not enough as GENG marched on the base. Caps behind them.
Caps behind to go golden. Managed to buy the Seekers just in time for the flick back. Skumon in the midst of the team. Broken Blade standing, but as long as Ruler's alive, that healing reduction is just too much. The front line of G2 slowly being whittled away. Duro taken down. The tower set to fall. Keen jumping in. Finding the kill is Skumon. There's nothing left. He's taken out. GENG send a statement to the rest of MSI. We will not falter.
And a slow start from GENG, but that counter punch, I think, hurting all the more. Game 2, and the final game in the series. GENG really showing through methodical play, right? The things they're known for, the macro, some of the decisions around vision, around objectives, but to me, that third game is the scariest. Canyon on that Lee. That's the type of stuff you have to deal with if you want to beat this team in the best of 5.
It's a terrifying team to go toe-to-toe against again. Game